Okay, cool. Awesome.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, everyone, and welcome to the Tech Tribe Community Masterclass. We're just going to wait a few seconds for people to join. Please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from and what you hope to gain from this masterclass. Morning, everybody. Morning. Welcome as everybody comes in. For all the new people that have just arrived, please introduce yourselves in the chat so we can find out where you're from and your names, and we can all engage with each other. Great. I think we're ready to start. Amazing. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Tech Tribe Community Masterclass. My name is Danielle, and I will be your host today. Welcome, everybody. So this masterclass is presented to you in partnership with Amazon Web Services. Speaking to us about the technical due diligence for startups is Erens Magoro, Senior Startup Solutions Architect at AWS. And he's going to discuss with us what it means to be well-architected and how you can make use of the AWS Well-Architected tool to set up your startup for success. If you have any questions for Erens as he presents, put them in the chat and we'll have them answered at the end. For the new people that have just arrived, please introduce yourselves in the chat so we can start engaging with each other. And that's all from me. Thank you for joining us, Erens, and you're welcome to start.
Thanks, Danielle. I am just going to put up my presentation and then we will be ready to begin in a few seconds. Cool. I hope everyone can see my presentation.
Yes, we can see it, Erens.
Awesome. Cool. So hi, my name is Erens Magoro. I am a Senior Startup Solutions Architect at Amazon Web Services. I look after our startups in the South African region, and I'm quite delighted to come today and talk to you about many challenges that startups are facing today and how you can mitigate those challenges or solve for those challenges before they even happen. If you are already experiencing those challenges, we'll be able to share today how you can go ahead and tackle those challenges as well using what is called the AWS Well-Architected tool. So before we dive into what we're going to present today, just by a show of hands, it could be a comment in the chat. How many of you are currently undergoing a cloud journey? You can put a comment in the chat. You can raise your hand. Just want to have a brief feeling of the room to see if anyone is currently migrating to the cloud. Are you running workloads in the cloud? Let's see those hands. Awesome. Some are in the journey, some are already running on the cloud. Let's see them. Don't be shy. Okay, cool. So, hi Dixon. So yeah, we're going to talk about your particular need as we go. Kianga, thanks. So yeah, I'm glad to see that we do have people who are planning a journey on the cloud or who are already running on the cloud. For those who are not yet running on the cloud, I hope today, as we go through, you will get to understand how going on a cloud journey can assist and how taking this due diligence in the beginning can be of assistance to you. Yeah, okay, so there is an audio issue, but I hope it gets sorted for Gift. Just let me know if you can't hear me from anybody else. And yeah, I think it's particular on your side, Gift. Cool. So the well-architected framework, right? You may be asking yourself, what is the well-architected framework? So just to define it, it's basically a set of questions and design principles across some 6 defined pillars. So these defined pillars are what you see on the first slide. You've got operational excellence, you've got security, reliability, performance, efficiency, cost optimization, and sustainability. So those pillars basically give you a sense of how well architected you are through a set of questions that you go through, and then a set of design principles which are based on those 6 pillars. And then with those questions which you go through and the answers which you get back from the tool, you get a feeling or you get specific pointers as to how well architected you are. So why does the AWS Well-Architected framework exist? So it's basically because most of our customers who build and operate workloads on the cloud are unsure or don't know most of the time whether they are well architected or not. Particularly speaking of startups, right? It's all nice and exciting getting that cool idea which you want to implement. And it's so easy to focus mostly on getting that idea or that business value you want to offer implemented and released to your customers. And it's often that when building your business as a startup, you are more focused on getting quick results and offering value at the quickest, shortest time, and most affordable way possible. And it's so easy to forget or overlook how well architected you are for the future. And you end up maybe a few months down the line in some bit of trouble when you start scaling, getting more customers, and maybe getting your bill going high because of maybe some design principles which were overlooked in the beginning. So the well-architected review basically ensures that you take care of that due diligence as you are building or in the initial stages so that you are set up for success going forward. It offers ways to learn the strategies and best practices for architecting in the cloud. It also measures your architecture using our well-architected framework. And we've got what we call well-architected lenses, which basically focus on the industry you are building for. So you'll have a lens for the kind of applications you are building, which will then tell you specifically for the kind of application or the kind of workload you have, how well architected you are. And it also gives you a way to improve your cloud architecture by addressing high risk issues which were identified during the review, and having suggestions of some improvement plans you can put in place. We run what we call well-architected labs, which you can take advantage of. And we've got a broad set of partners who can help you with whatever findings you found about your architecture which need to be addressed. And some architectures who are working for AWS like myself, who can basically help you fix these identified risks in your architecture in the initial stage. So as I mentioned, this well-architected framework is broken down into different pillars, which you can basically go through to assess your workloads. So these are the pillars. We've got 6 pillars now in total. We had 5 until last week. We just announced at our reInvent event, which we run every year, that we have launched a new pillar. We'll talk about it briefly as we go along. But in brief, we've got what is called the operational excellence pillar of the well-architected framework. So this basically gives you the ability to run and monitor your systems to deliver business value and continually improve supporting processes and procedures. So a lot of startups from experience will go and build with the intention of getting something running, and that is all good and well. But forget about, how are we going to deploy changes? Are we going to be able to run our CI/CD pipeline fast enough that we can deliver more features going forward without having to go through, a lot of additional work and potentially breaking what is currently working in production? So the operational excellence pillar takes care of that. We've got the security pillar, which many of you will agree is quite important to any technology company. We have people out there always trying to hack into systems, trying to take advantage of other people's businesses through their publicly available endpoints, be it through your front end or your API and so forth. So this particular pillar addresses any security vulnerabilities that could exist in your workload in production. We've got the reliability pillar. This deals with the ability of your system to recover from any infrastructure or service failures. So it is quite common for things to fail, right? Basically, everything will eventually fail somehow. You don't want to be running a business, a technology business, and then because, some cable which connects our continent to other continents is down. Now your application is also down worldwide. You don't want a power outage in wherever you're hosting your workload to affect how your application works in places where there is demand. So reliability ensures that your application is resilient and that it continues functioning regardless of any external challenges. We've got performance efficiency. So this is the ability to use computing resources efficiently to meet system requirements. It's been a known thing in our industry, in the IT industry in the past, that companies tend to over provision or under provision, and things don't really run efficiently because you get, ups and downs, you get spikes, you get times where there isn't a lot of demand, and it makes it quite hard to have things running efficiently. So the performance efficiency will help you see how you can address that particular issue within the AWS cloud. And then we've got our cost optimization pillar, which deals with what it says costs. It's often quite easy to rake up a lot of expenses unnecessarily because of not architecting our workloads properly. I've seen it happen quite a few times. So this particular pillar will help you identify any cost issues which you could have. And then our brand new sustainability pillar, as announced last week, deals with how sustainable your workloads are in the cloud. So AWS has a shared responsibility model where AWS takes care of sustainability of the cloud. So ensuring that our data centers are running as efficiently as possible, we using as much green power as possible, and ensuring that we are having as little impact to the environment as possible. And your part in that responsibility is also to ensure that whatever you design, right, consumes as little as possible to ensure that we all end up running in a sustainable sense. So as you can see, these 6 pillars of the well-architected framework are quite comprehensive. And after going all 6 of them, you will definitely have a well-architected application running out there. So what benefits would come out of this? You've got a few benefits, but just to name a few, I'll ask you to take your phone to scan that QR code, which is currently being shared on the screen. So on there, you have a more comprehensive list of benefits which you can attain by doing the well-architected review. So firstly, it ensures that you have the ability to build and deploy faster. If your workload is not well architected from the onset, like I mentioned in the beginning, it's quite hard to go and add in more features without impacting how your workload is running in production, or introducing risks, or introducing downtime. So that's one advantage. The second one is that you also lower or mitigate risks by ensuring that you take this due diligence and ensuring that you are well architected. It's easy to make informed decisions. And then you also get to learn AWS best practices as you go along. So you will agree that it's quite important to do this due diligence, especially as a startup, to make sure that you are set up for success from the beginning. So when you look at your systems, which you are building, can you answer the question, are you well architected? That's a difficult question to answer. A lot of people find it difficult because there are so many ways of architecting systems out there. There are so many new threats which are identified every day. There are so many methods of doing things and building systems, which would leave one thinking, is this the best way I can architect my system? So some common customer problems that we help solve for using this well architected review is we will show you basically how well architected your solutions are compared to common threats which have been identified, and how well architected compared to also common modern best practices. So you don't need to worry about whether you are well architected or not. We actually take the time and offer you the resources to really see if you are really well architected, and also how well architected you are. The question is then, how do you get started in ensuring that you are well architected? So there are a few steps to consider before going through this review for your workload or for your application which you have hosted out there. Firstly, what we know from our experience is that when you want to ensure that you succeed in doing this well-architected review, is that you've got high-level business sponsorship. So basically, you could be running in a big enough startup that you have high-level decision makers. It's very important from our experience to get buy-in from those leaders, to ensure that they are all in the same page with you when it comes to ensuring that your systems or your application is well architected. The second thing is ensuring that you have the right people in the room when conducting this review. We have often experienced instances wherein you purely maybe just have people who don't have all the information according to whatever pillar you are reviewing at the time. So it's very important to make sure that you've got the right people in the room. We'll discuss in the coming slides how to, identify those people for the right pillar and ensure that they are in the room on the day. So the second thing is to be collaborative or have a collaborative approach when it comes to resolving any issues which are identified in your architecture. And before doing this review, we often ask our customers, we always ask our customers to gather some data beforehand, because what the review does is it goes through a set of questions, and some of those questions cannot be answered if you don't have specific, data or specific facts which you've gathered before. So it's very important to go through the prep work and gather those facts before the review so that you get to answer accurately. And then from the link which I shared previously through that QR code, you will find a white paper which discusses what the well-architected review is and how to best conduct it. So it is best to go and read that white paper beforehand. So the next steps during the review or during the review process would be identifying a significant workload. Actually, that is before the review. So identifying a significant workload which you want to review first. You may be asking yourself, what is a workload? I keep talking of a workload. So it can be defined as a collection of interrelated applications or infrastructure or policy, governance, and operations running on AWS that provide business value. So it can be like a whole system, including its infrastructure, any governance, any policies and operations. So basically looking at the whole workload as a whole, and then identify if it's significant. And then if you find that it's significant to your business, it's best that you start with that. So a significant workload could be something which would cause damage to your business reputation or revenue streams if not addressed properly. It could be a foundational business application which you use within your business. So you need to identify that beforehand, prepare for the review beforehand, and then you need to review your architecture. So you need to see how everything is put together for that workload. And then after doing the review, you need to review the results and the improvement plan that the tool generates for you. And then create a plan to fix all the issues, most importantly, the high risk issues which will be identified. So in doing this, or after doing this well-architected review, you will get a detailed summary of the review results, which you can go through, where it identifies all the high risk and medium risks findings by pillar through those 6 pillars which we have identified, and then it provides a list of steps for remediation. So you can see how this tool can offer a value in a way that you don't really need to second guess yourself as to whether something is important or not. The tool basically gives you all the findings and how you can address them. And we often find that with a lot of startups, it's hard, right, to sometimes go through each and every remediation task and solve, because it could be beyond the scope of your technical resources or your technical ability within the organization. So in this case, we've got partners who can help you to remediate those risks or remediate those findings. You also have AWS startup solutions architects, such as myself, who can also help you in remediating those issues. So how do you go about starting this well-architected after collecting all the data and everything we spoke about? Um, Please scan the QR code on your screen. That will take you to our well-architected tool. So the well-architected tool is within your AWS console. It's not a tool which is hosted elsewhere. So you are, secured, or whatever you put in there, whatever questions you answer, it's all in your AWS account. It's not, some shared tool which, somebody can go draw data from. So all those details you are going to capture in the tool are going to be accessible to people within your organization with the right permissions. If you wish to share your well-architected review with a solutions architect, such as myself, you can choose to do so with the aim of helping or getting some help to remediate some findings. You can also share it with a partner if you have an AWS partner who's helping you to remediate those. So you can actually go ahead and do that. But the key finding or the key takeaway here is that it's all in your control. The data you collect or the data you input here remains within your account. So just to go through some partners, this is by no way or by no means a full list of the partners who can help you remediate any issues with well-architected findings. But this is just a partial list. There is a full up-to-date list on the website. So the first QR code which you scanned should take you to a list with all the partners who you can use to basically help you remediate those findings. Don't worry if you didn't get a chance to scan the QR code first. I'll show it again at the end of this presentation. So it's quite important to make sure that you take this due diligence in the beginning. You don't want to be in a position a year down the line when your startup is now, exploding and growing into success. You've got millions of people wanting to connect to your system, and all of a sudden things are falling over because they were not well designed. All of a sudden there are security threats because everybody now knows about what you're running and they're trying to hack into your system. It's often best to address those issues now and ensure that when you succeed, you only get to focus on your business journey or on offering business value, and not really worrying about your architecture and worrying about your systems. So here are the next steps or some action points you can take following this call. So you can identify who are the key business leaders or the key business people to approach would be within your business, to convince them to ensure that they go through the well-architected review. You can identify significant workloads to take through this well-architected review. discuss some timelines and put things down and schedule things to ensure that you move to a particular step at a particular time. Define the business context for the review you're going to do, and then go ahead and schedule a well-architected review. And by the way, this is a free tool. There is no cost to running a well-architected review on your workload. There is no cost for asking an AWS solutions architect to help you with the findings which you get at the end. And also, if there is a partner who can help you, there are programs and plans which we can discuss during the Q&A with my colleague Henry, which can ensure that you've got a partner who can literally help you solve the findings or whatever findings have been identified in your workload. So that is it. Here's that link again to the well-architected review or to the well-architected tool. Please go to the link and find the white paper there if you want to read the white paper, get more information around the well-architected review. You can see our list of partners who can help you with the remediations which are identified, and also what each pillar does in summary, or you can even drill deeper into each pillar if you so wish. So that is it from my side. It is now time to take some questions. So I'll be taking some questions. I've got in the line my colleague Henry. He's our business. He takes care of all the startups from a business perspective and ensuring that you succeed. And I also have my other colleague, Sabia, who is also a solutions architect for startups. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions. We'll be happy to answer them.
Great. Thank you so much, Erin, for that. That was incredibly informative. It's also great to see that you've added sustainability as part of the AWS Well-Architected pillars. Just shows that the AWS Well-Architected tool is consistently being updated to stay applicable for its users. So great to see. Let's take a look at a few questions. People are also welcome to put up their hands if they have a question, put it in the chat, or even that link that Henry shared. You're welcome to go ahead if anybody has questions. Erin, I see there's a question in the chat.
Yes. Have hackers been able to penetrate AWS? So let me just explain a bit around our responsibility or shared responsibility models for when it comes to security, right? And what the meaning of an attack on your system would be, so that I can better answer your question. So when we talk of the cloud or hosting your applications in AWS, we've got what we call a shared responsibility model. This means that you've got the AWS cloud, which includes, our servers which are running, and infrastructure, network infrastructure, the electricity which is being pumped to, run those servers and so forth. And you also have the part wherein you come with your workloads and then you come and deploy them on AWS. So AWS has a shared responsibility model when it comes to security. So AWS has will go and secure the infrastructure, secure the network where the communications will be going into the AWS cloud through. And your responsibility is to ensure that within your AWS account, you are well architected for security, right? So if, for instance, somebody hacks into your account, the question is, that hacking, is it based on the way you were architected? Are you encrypting your data? Are you ensuring that there are tight access controls? Did you share your password with somebody? Did you enable multi-factor authentication and so forth? So that responsibility lies with the customer, or you as the person deploying your infrastructure. So there has been incidents of accounts being hacked, and it's always been around, forgetting to encrypt your data, leaving maybe your data with public access, because in this instance, AWS cannot say automatically lock down this data. It shouldn't be available to the public, because it could be your intention. Hence, it remains the responsibility of the customer to ensure that all the security concerns are taken care of in the cloud. So you're encrypting your data, you have tight access control, and you have got all the security due diligence done beforehand. Has there been attempts to hack into people's infrastructures on AWS? Yeah, all the time there are people who are always trying to do that, but we've got a multitude of services which block out attacks, and which successfully do so all the time using shared learnings from all the common security threats which we encounter. So security in the cloud is a shared responsibility, and yes, people are always trying to hack you, whether you are on AWS, whether you are on premise, and so forth. But AWS offers you all the tools you need to make sure that you are unhackable, or to ensure that you are as secure as you can be when it comes to being exposed to the internet or having workloads running online.
Great, thank you so much, Aaron's. I'm going to read a few questions that were put on when people registered. So Dibwe Kalangu asks how to know when you're ready for a technical due diligence phase.
Sorry, I didn't get that one. When are you?
How to know when you're ready for a technical due diligence due diligence phase.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a good one. So you are ready from day one to run the technical due diligence, right? The aim here is to ensure that you are building at the right way from the beginning. So this technical due diligence, which we talk about, we encourage our customers to take on it from the first day before you start building, as you're designing your workloads, having the approach of designing for success in the beginning. So ensuring that as you design, whatever components you have are secured, whatever services you are deploying are built for scale, they are built for resilience, and that you are well architected from the beginning. And we do understand that some companies or some startups have already been in the journey, and they have already a lot of stuff running out there. It's also now, so it's still the right time to go through what you currently have running and doing that due diligence. So it's never too early. So it's more advisable to do it right from the beginning. It's a foundation which you are building on. It's better to ensure that it's strong and it's well set up from the beginning, rather than having to repair it later on.
Henry, do you have something to add?
Yes, I do. Hi everyone. Great stuff. So that's a great question. I mean, so definitely if you want to do an assessment, whether you're running somewhere else, you can do that with a tool online, right? When you are looking for funding, or you're, let's say, in B2B and you want to engage with an enterprise, you're going to run into the enterprise side on a procurement officer, security officer. They're going to ask you a lot about compliances, including GDPR compliances, PCI if you're in credit cards, if you're in health tech, HIPAA compliances, or insure tech, for sure. then definitely leverage a partner, because from a partner point of view, what they do is they essentially sit with you and the team, and you can get a 62-page technical due diligence done by that partner, which is the logo of your company. The partner could be a Deloitte, it could be a Silicon Overdrive. There's quite a few partners you can find out there to do that. If you don't know, you can ask me. And that will be fantastic, because when I was a tech founder trying to speak with the B2B enterprises, they saw me as a startup, and it was really challenging. I had to spend hours to go through their statement of compliances, the procurement requirements, and that's the cool part. You get addendums to the services you're offering from using AWS. Plus, and if you have that technical due diligence with a 62-pager, all the questions would definitely be answered. That's the one thing. The other thing is, if you are going to go into a funding round, then bear in mind that for the past 15 years, we've been working with the world's VCs, global VCs, local VCs. They do understand the well-architected framework very well. So that could be a fantastic attachment to your term sheet for a technical due diligence. It's really a case of where you are in your journey. And I definitely would advise start with a tool and just see how you come out, and hopefully you can then remediate some of those concerns that is raised, right? Let's say it's security, two-factor authentications, security at rest, et cetera, et cetera. However, I've given a link over here. It's a penetration testing aspect service that you can run with AWS that looks after how secure is your environment, very specific to that context. I hope that adds some value there.
Definitely, definitely. Thanks for jumping in. Sylvia, if you also have anything to say, please just let me know.
Yeah.
Could I go on? Yeah.
Yeah, I was
like
just
to
going
add
to
something
go.
there?
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to quickly add that the tool is very easy to use. There's a lot of information given for each aspect. So that is why we've kind of built it in a way that customers can go in, look at the details that we're mentioning. There's a lot of info around the questions you want to answer, and that way it enables you to run and review workloads that you identify that could have issues. And sometimes it'll give you some steps. So it's also integrated based on industry. So it's even taking into account the different industries or domains that you're interested in, like machine learning or fintech. And so it will have those features inbuilt, and it will really let you extend the well-architected framework for in those use cases. So that's just something I wanted to add in.
Great, thank you so much. Witsilo, did you want to say something?
Yes, I had a question. Like,
go ahead.
So, for people who are, let me say, inventors to say, because yes, we are about to become startups. So, the tool itself, does it offer any chance of me maybe piling my work and maybe all the processes that I'm gonna be using on building maybe whatever product or service? Like, does it offer where maybe if I save now, can I still be able to find them maybe after 3 years? I mean, those files and documents that maybe I may submit on the app. And then the other one is that if you're saying that it protects, and then maybe it happened that I lost my password, maybe someone hacked my password, what happened with that person? Can he be able to access all my data or my files? And then how to manage if ever it happened that maybe I lost my password, like maybe I missed my, or maybe when I was punching them, someone saw them, and then what happened into that situation? Yeah.
Thanks very much, Wichiro. That's a very, very good question. So I'm going to start with the first question, right? So you asked, I think you're talking more around having a repo to store your artifacts about whatever you currently building, right? So this particular tool is more for checking if all the systems that you are building in the cloud, right? Maybe you've got a server which is running there, and that server is talking to a database, and you've got something where you are storing some objects, maybe in an S3 bucket and so forth. It just ensures that you have put together everything, that server and the database and the bucket, in the most secure way. So for instance, the communication between those things, is it encrypted or not? It also ensures that are you maybe running a server which is too big or too small for whatever you're trying to do? Are you running this system in a way that tomorrow when people want to come and access it, thousandfold now, can still, access it without issues? So this tool basically ensures that, the way you designed your system is designed in the best way ever from the beginning. When it comes to looking for a place to store your artifacts or storing things to do with your design and so forth, we do offer a lot of services which take care of that. Like for instance, we've got within the AWS console, you can access something called S3, where you can basically go upload your documents or design and so forth. So it's just one of the few storage options which we have, which you can utilize for that. When it comes to ensuring that you are always secured, yes, the well-architected tool will ask you questions along the questions which you've asked right now around your password policies, right? For instance, if you've got a password, what is the policy around the expiration of those policies? What do you have multi-factor authentication enabled? So are you just using a username and a password to log into your console, or do you have a device which receives an SMS and then, or which receives an email with a OTP which you have to enter to log in? So those are all or some of the things which the well-architected tool will encourage you to have in place to ensure that, should somebody somehow get hold of your password, they still can't get into your account, because they also have to have a third factor or a third device with an OTP to go in. Do you have like password expiry rules and so forth? So this tool will teach you to find ways to ensure that you are as secure as possible and that nobody can get into your account should they somehow get hold of your password. I hope that answers your question clearly.
Yeah. I think I'm clear. I'm clear.
Thank you, Vichiro.
Sorry, I just want to add in there again. So the tool is designed around workloads. In other words, you have existing workloads. If you are still in the market fit analysis stage, in other words, whatever you will build to solve your customer's problem, then maybe just read the guide, but don't make the tool your emphasis at that point. That is frankly too early. You definitely want to then rather leverage tools that you get from AWS Activate, such as build-on templates. In other words, templates that will help you, let's say, launch a web application, blockchain environment, etc. And you get that in the Activate console. So from day one, the focus absolutely has to be at your end customer and validating if there is a need from that customer, as opposed to get over analytics on how the security and that technical stuff will work. So I would really like to encourage that, rather focus initially on the customer and then work backwards from that point, just to add in there. So what I've done is I've kind of run a few of these mentorship sessions across Africa. And I've created a short resource link basis that you are most encouraged to have a look at. There's a lot of resources there, especially when you're looking for market fit. In Amazon, we use a tool called the PRFAQ process. It's a lovely mechanism to understand what is your customer's value proposition. You write a PR message. How will it look in a year from now? And then you write down the FAQs. And what's really great with that is when you're building in a team, it puts everybody into the same focus areas. So besides activate and build on templates and well-architected and technical due diligence, from day one, the focus should just be the customer's problem you're solving. I hope that puts a bit of context into that.
Definitely, definitely. Salvia, would you like to add anything there?
No, it's all covered.
Happy.
Thanks.
Great. Maybe we can just do one more question. Is everybody happy with that? So Joseph Munshi, his question is, what is the best way for a founder that doesn't have IT or developing skills to interact with the developers that's creating the software for them?
Henry, I'm sure you want to take this one.
So when you get started, you as a startup, per definition, cannot pay salaries. So the best way to interact with developers is to go into, for example, an AWS user group. There's quite a lot. I can see this in my link tree as well. And then do your first sale pitch to a developer. Set up a partnership agreement, make it a joint founder. And now you're a team that's building on behalf of your customers. And then what you do is jointly write down what is that problem you're solving. And that's called the PRFAQ mechanism. So before you get building and all that stuff, of course, if you are already engaged with a technical team that's giving you offers for solutions, I would highly recommend look at a business engagement approach. In other words, don't think about the servers and the tech underlying. Think about step functions. It's a function for a service from AWS, which is basically how Naked Insurance got started when I met them very early stage. They just use Lambda to spin up their services, and all they do as a team is they talk about the customer's processes and procedures as opposed to which database to use. And there's 14 different kind of databases, and the kind of tech that you use is definitely going to make an impact on how you can scale, and also the cost run rate that you're going to have on your initial platform. So it's very nice to talk about waterfalls and write wireframes and document all that into functional specs. But I would highly recommend focus all the energy again back into the customer view. And if you can get to pitch to the dev to join you as a team, a co-founder, then you're putting yourself on a great trajectory going forward. Otherwise, it is going to be a business discussion versus a technical output, and there's so many different ways to solve the same problem. Okay.
Thank you. And I just saw another question as well from Simpiwe. I'm going to quickly go and I've pasted in a link there. Have a look there for any industry-specific solutions which adhere to common security and architecture requirements. So you can literally just go through the search and you can input whatever whatever solution you want to deploy. You'll find there's quite a lot in there. You can go in through a step-by-step process of deploying this solution. You've got what we call cloud formation, which is basically a script which you just import into your account, AWS account, and then it will deploy that solution for you in the most well-architected way, or which has been assessed by AWS. So yeah, I hope you find what you're looking for on that link.
Great. Thank you for all the questions. It always adds a lot of value to the masterclass when we have engaging listeners. I think we learned a lot today about how to be well architected and use the incredible AWS Well-Architected tool. Thank you to all for tuning in today. We hope this has been valuable. Please let us know your thoughts by completing a short survey that we'll add in the chat. On behalf of the audience and the Tech Tribe community, thank you, Aarons, for this discussion on the technical due diligence for startups, and Salvia and Henry for the great discussion. We'll see you all next time. Have a great Thursday further. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye.